Welcome to Paladin Financial Talk. I am your co-host, Tony Shore. Excited to be part of the show today because I'm here with my favorite host, Ellie, right?
Yes, of course.
Ellie
I love to hear
Robison.
it.
Ellie Robison is here with us today, and we're going to have a great show because it's that time of year, spring cleaning. In fact, Ellie, I heard this coming weekend, we're supposed to hit 60 degrees on Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
Huh?
That seems to be a reoccurring number, huh, Tony?
60. Uh-oh.
I heard someone had a milestone birthday recently.
Yes, I turned 60. What do you think?
Never guessed, Tony.
Really?
Your personality and like your aura and honestly your skin, great skin routine, whatever you're doing. You do not look 60. Like
my skin routine is basically a nice tall glass of Jack Squat.
Oh, Tony.
I don't have a skin routine, but I am a little OCD, so I do wash a lot. You'd think it would be dry, and it is a little dry, but yeah.
It's that time of year. But.
It's that time of year. But no, I've had, thank you. I had a birthday this week. Yeah, the big 60. That's a big one.
Yeah.
But I don't
is.
feel any older.
How did you celebrate?
I haven't yet.
Okay.
We're going to do that this weekend.
Okay, good. What are your plans?
Oh, we're going out to my favorite restaurant, Donatelli's in White Bear Lake, Montemita area.
Mm-hmm.
Great Italian place. They make their own pasta.
Yeah.
And the pizza's great too. We'll have probably Italian fries. Then I might have a little, I don't know what I'll have. I think they used to make their own sausage there too.
Yum.
Yeah, Italian sausage. So yeah, I mean, they have an actual, like a place where you can go buy their pastas and things too in there. And they have Italian ice cream. So
is it gelato?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Gelato. There's another word for it. Yes.
I love Italian desserts.
Yes.
Tiramisu.
Yes,
one of my
they
favorites.
have that. Yeah, they have that.
Well, good. Congratulations on hitting
thanks.
that milestone. Happy belated.
Well, thanks. Wow, what a segue from the 60. Yeah, it's going to turn 60, and then
it was a trigger in my mind. I was like, speaking of 60-degree weather, something happened this
both
week,
the temperature and Tony, 60
degrees.
week.
Yes. So
this week.
I'm excited that this weather is starting to turn around. You know how Minnesota is, though. We're gonna have it go back down in temps. We're gonna have a blizzard at some point before May.
Certain parts of the state, March can be the snowiest month. I looked it up. I used to say March was the snowiest month, and a lot of people used to say that. However, it is December now, the snowiest month in Minnesota.
Okay.
But we often, many years, on average, December's the snowiest month. But a lot of years, March can be the snowiest month. I think it's the second.
Well, I think we're focusing on spring so much lately because of this warm weather.
Yes.
Even
spring
personally.
Cleaning,
yes.
Right?
Even personally, like with clients, I've been talking about how excited I am to have a garden this year.
Ooh,
oh, yeah.
Wow, gardening.
There's a lot of spring
You're going for it.
on our mind. Yes.
I love it.
Yes.
I love it. And then the warm weather just means the boat will be out all that sooner.
I hope so.
Right?
I hope so,
Yeah.
Tony.
Yeah. Well, it's early days for spring, but people are starting to think about spring cleaning. I know my family and I are talking about it as well. So, but you want to talk about a spring retirement stress test.
I do.
What are you talking about?
I do.
I have no idea what you meant by that when you told me the title.
You know, it's so piggybacking off of what Quick had talked about in our previous episode last week. Jeff Quick.
Another advisor
Yes.
with the lovely Paladin.
Yes. We love
team.
him. He's great.
He is fun. He's fun to make fun of, though.
Yes, he's great at that too.
Yeah.
So he gave some very good high level recommendations, like just across the board. Doesn't matter who you are as a spring cleaning, idea. Make sure you check your beneficiaries. Make sure you reallocate your portfolios. All of that jazz.
Sure.
Which are all things that we do here at Paladin.
Right.
But what I wanted to focus on is specifically retirees. People who are getting ready for retirement.
Yes.
So that's what this episode is going to focus on, is how do you stress test your finances gearing up for retirement?
Okay.
I'm excited to talk about this because this is truly where we shine. Like, this is where the bulk of our job comes into play every single day. It's like truly pre-retirees. There's a lot of balls to juggle. And this is where we start entering into a different phase of life. So we want to make sure that we get it right.
Right. And it's not an end. It's a new beginning. It's a whole new chapter It's for most people, it'll be a third of their lives.
Correct.
Yeah.
And so a lot of times, people will just have a retirement plan that they set themselves at some point in their 30s or 40s, and then don't think about it until they're trying to retire in a year or two from now. And that's not what it is. Like, you need to be consistently tweaking your retirement plan as life progresses, because small misalignments over time can cost you a lot of money, whether it's in taxes or just your risk or your income strategy as you get into retirement. So these are all things that we focus on here at Paladin. And I just want to outline it as a simple framework on how to stress test your retirement plan and just give you some insights to risks that you might not be thinking about. We're thinking about it as professionals, but I think it's good for clients to also understand the base level of where all our recommendations are coming from. And this is usually kind of our talking points, like when it comes down to it.
It's a big one, right? Yes.
So making sure that you have clarity on how your investments, your tax strategy, income planning work together, and all of that.
All right. So in today's show, we're going to talk about a number of things. Why don't you tell us what are the 5 of the things that we're going to be touching on?
Great question. So sequence of returns risk, I want to spend some time on that.
Okay.
Huge when it comes to our pre-retirees. I want to make sure that listeners understand that. So hand in hand with that, your withdrawal strategy review is another thing. Longevity and healthcare costs is a third. Tax efficiency and retirement, and then income stability and lifestyle alignment.
Oh, nice. Yeah, that sounds good. We're going to go into each one of those. So where do you want to begin here?
Let's start at the top. Most retirees, most people in general, I think, focus on returns. When they, come through our doors and they say, you're a financial advisor, what do your returns look like? Which is fair. But we do so much more than that, because your retirement success depends on the coordination of all of the things that I was just kind of rattling off. So if we start with specifically the sequence of returns risk.
Okay.
Let's start with that one. So that's something that people don't hear often. I think it comes from our industry. That's why I think when people,
yeah, it's financial jargon.
Yeah, I think it is because
sequence of returns.
Yes. So for instance, if someone retires and the market drops 15 to 20%, and they're still taking out withdrawals, that can take a huge hit to their overall long-term trajectory of their finances. I can explain why this is dangerous in early retirement here. So early losses with those withdrawals combined at the same time can permanently reduce your portfolio longevity. If you maintain about 1 to 3-ish years of reserves in cash or cash equivalents, that's going to be your bucket that you pull from in a down market. This is kind of referring to our 3-bucket strategy, where we want to make sure that we have money that falls in your short-term bucket, your midterm bucket, and your long-term bucket of allocations within your investments.
Which is why you always say it's not just how much you saved or how much you have.
Correct. It's the strategy.
It's the strategy on where and how you draw from it.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct. So adjusting with your withdrawal rates temporarily from which bucket of money during a downtime is what's going to make your money last as long as possible.
Sure.
I call it an art form. I say it's an art.
Yeah. Well, yeah, and this is why you can't DIY this. I mean, your retirement is such a large part of your life, and it has gotten so complex with all these different areas. You want a financial professional on your side, and even better, a team of financial professionals, 100%. Tax professionals working with them, Medicare specialists, estate planning attorneys, and that's what Paladin offers.
100%. Yes, that's exactly what we do. We help people retire every day. So this is definitely our wheelhouse. Hand in hand with the sequence of returns risk. So going into that next talking point of the withdrawal summary, so this goes hand in hand, is a lot of times people know what the 4% rule or they've heard of it. You've heard of it, right, Tony?
Oh, yes.
So it's a very old rule. I think it was incepted in the 90s. So over 25 years ago.
Yeah, it was
Bare
late
minimum.
80s or early 90s.
Yes.
And, because people then in the 90s, people were starting losing pensions and getting 401ks.
Yeah.
So they were retiring with a lump sum or
Yep.
just stock investments.
Correct.
So how do I know I have enough? Well, the plan for your retirement is take that lump sum. It's all in stocks, maybe some in bonds, and you're just going to withdraw 4% a year.
Correct.
And live on that.
Correct. And so it is such a cookie cutter formula that I have to like dissect it to certain people. And I say, this is for do-it-yourselfers, and it doesn't make sense because of the math. So if
Right.
you reverse engineer,
Plus now it's about 2.6% withdrawal rate that is what you could only take 2.6. And is that going to be enough to
and
live on?
it depends completely. So like let's put some numbers to it just to give an example. So if you have $1 million investment portfolio that you retire with,
Yep.
and you take out 4% that year one, so that's $40,000. In year two, you're supposed to take out the $40,000 plus inflation adjusted
Yep.
withdrawal. So that's year two. In year two, you're taking out what you took out, or excuse me, in year three, you take out what you took out in year two, plus
Okay.
another inflation adjusted dollar amount.
Wow.
So it will continue to withdraw even more and more as you progress in life with
okay.
inflation.
Yes.
If you reverse the calculation, and let's say that you need to take out $100,000 a year to live off of in retirement, if you divide that by 4, that means that you need $2.5 million to retire off of.
Wow.
I will tell you that the average American does not have $2.5 million
Well, no.
retirement nest egg to retire
Yes.
off of.
Yeah.
And with that strategy, it's usually using a mixed asset allocation of 50% stocks, 50% bonds. So they're not using the sequence of
64,
returns
or the
60-40. Yes, so
yeah.
it's a cookie cutter portfolio.
Yeah, and these rules, this is where rules of thumb can go wrong because everybody's
completely.
situation is different.
Completely.
You have to do the math.
Yes.
And there are so many other factors.
It's just too simple. Like this calculation is too simple to like truly calculate what your number should be when you retire.
Right.
What it's lacking is like that sequence of returns risk that I mentioned. It's also lacking interest rate environment. So
right, which
low
is huge
bond
right
yields,
now. We're
correct.
wondering. Yeah.
Yes, exactly. It is. So it's not factoring that in. It's
Yep.
not factoring in longevity nowadays is a little bit longer than when it used to be.
Sure. Yeah. People
So-
are living longer and longer.
Correct.
I mean,
Correct.
a 30 plus year retirement is not uncommon
Correct.
now.
Correct.
And
Yeah.
even 20, 30 years ago, that was not
I know.
what people were
I
planning
know.
for.
Modern medicine, hallelujah.
Yeah.
I
yeah.
hope to be here for 100 years.
Yeah,
So
plus some societal pressure to eat better and be healthier, and
which is a good thing.
people are a little more aware
Yeah.
than just eating whatever.
Yeah,
yeah.
that's true.
Hopefully,
Hopefully.
yeah.
Stay
Some
away
of
from
us, it's
McDonald's.
easier for some of us than others, and it's harder for some of us than others. I'm just gonna say that.
It also doesn't account for like spending flexibility if you think about it. But if
Oh.
you are wanting to take a nice fancy vacation at age 70 and you don't account for an extra $10,000, being taken out of your investment portfolio to go on a nice fancy cruise, like that 4% rule isn't factoring that
Right.
in.
And did it factor in the $200,000 RV bus you're going to buy to travel the country?
If you work
in
with
your
me,
first-
Tony, yeah.
in your first year of retirement? And that's where you come in and you ask people, okay, what are your goals for retirement? What
Oh,
are
yeah.
you going to do?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I want to take all my kids and grandkids to Disney World for a week.
Yeah.
How many kids do you have? 4.
Yeah.
And how many kids do they each have? 3 each. All to Disney
Lot
World.
of kids.
Okay.
And Disney World is
So
more
you're going to pay
expensive
for
than-
the airline, the hotel, and the tickets at all the parks? Okay.
I think Disney World is more expensive than like a European
Oh, it is.
trip. Oh yeah.
Yeah, my mother-in-law did it. She took us and all
Did
the
she?
kids,
Oh.
all 3 of her kids,
Yeah.
and all their kids and significant others.
Oh my gosh.
Airline tickets, paid for the lodging and the
Everyone?
tickets. It was about, I forget, 4 or 5 days.
That's awesome.
It was great.
Yeah.
But I mean, I'm talking tens of thousands of dollars.
Oh, it has to be.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So you have to plan for these things. It's not that you cannot do it. You have to plan ahead, and you're not going to be able to do these things and still make your money last as long as you do throughout retirement.
That's where some coaching comes into play before you pull the trigger on retirement with my clients. I think that's kind of the fun part where you start dreaming and we say, what are your ideal retirement lifestyle looks like? What do you want to do with your money? You've saved your whole life.
Yes.
We're getting you there. We're going to pull the trigger on retirement, but what's it going to look like now?
And some people just want to hold on to it and not spend anything.
Yeah.
And that's not good either, because you can't take it. You know what you never see is a hearse pulling a U-Haul. You can't take it with you. Have you ever heard that?
No, I haven't, but I like it.
Yeah. So that's spending flexibility.
That's huge.
What else does it not take into account?
And then,
the 4%
which
rule?
is a very common topic, I think, in our industry now, is taxes.
Well, sure.
People,
taxes.
people weren't factoring in taxes into their investment plan years ago. Like, this is something that we really want to stay coordinated on, because you will lose your returns to taxes if you don't properly plan for it.
Yeah, that makes sense.
When we're thinking about your withdrawal rates, it's not going to be a flat 4% for the rest of your life. That's not what we're factoring in. We are thinking about your age and possibly when you file for Social Security, for example. So if you retire at 65 and the best bang for your buck is for you to delay Social Security filing, that means we're going to have to be pulling out more from your investments for the next couple years to help bridge that gap until you get your higher benefit, and we lock that in, and then we start reducing your portfolio withdrawals.
Yeah.
So that's something that we take into consideration. Market environment in general, of course, but I always have to remind people, past performance is not indicative of future results.
Right.
That's the compliance officer in me.
Yes.
Asset allocation and longevity expectations. So I just said, so some strategies that we just want to make sure that we iron out with our clients before we fully pull the trigger on retirement is making sure is flexible, having a flexible withdrawal strategy important to you so you can take those spontaneous vacations, or maybe you are a better fit for a fixed income and you say, nope, I don't want to travel. I don't want to do, I just want to live my life and have a paycheck be sent to me basically every single month and not worry about it. Some people are like that. That's fine. We want to iron it out with our clients. Coordinating withdrawals is also something that is an art when it comes to the taxes portion too, of are we going to be pulling more from your pre-tax buckets in certain years and then maybe your Roth buckets in other years and your taxable in certain years? There's absolutely years where we combine all three to make sure that we are not paying a lot in taxes in a current calendar year because you want to go to Disney World with all of your extended family.
Right. Yeah. You want to minimize the tax burden in retirement, and there will be one. We've talked about that on past shows. So yeah.
In hand with that, making sure that we're using dividends and interest strategically in your accounts too, to make sure that we're not creating even more taxation from that type of income coming in. So of course, we're taking an integrated approach that the 4% rule is not doing. We're looking at where income comes from each year to help minimize everything to maintain a lifestyle for you.
Yeah. So next, that covers that. But what about you mentioned longevity and healthcare, and we've already alluded to that a little bit. I always say the good news is people are living longer. The bad news is we're living longer. Yeah.
Sometimes it makes me sad, Tony, because I sit down with clients and we're, building out our trajectory, and they say, oh, I'm not going to live to 95. I'm not going to live to 90. And I'm like, but you're only 60 years old. How do you know?
People say that all the time.
I know. Yeah. It makes me sad though, because it's also as an advisor, I would much rather you plan you're going to be here a little bit longer than we expect, as opposed to making sure that we run out of money at age 90 so you don't die with anything. And then you happen to live a little bit longer than we planned. What happens at that point? It hasn't happened to me or my clients yet, but that always worries me, where I'm like, I don't want to undershoot your life expectancy based off of what you think. We do incorporate, let's say, some health concerns. So I do want our clients to be transparent with us, where it's okay, hey, what's going on medically? Not that that's really my wheelhouse, but we do want to be, a little bit open about that and say, okay, that is a factor into the plan, of course. when it comes to just healthcare in general, I'm going to fully admit this isn't my wheelhouse because that's what Nikki Foley is for at Paladin.
Nikki does that. Nikki is the healthcare person and the Medicare specialist. And
Medicare specialist. She really thrives off of helping our clients when it comes to their health plan. So a lot of times, sometimes I just tap her into the conversation with my clients and I say, let's have Nikki come in and let's have her focus on this aspect for your plan.
Yeah.
Especially for Medicare. Medicare stuff is just, my God, it's a whole nother beast in itself.
Yeah. You couldn't pay me money to be a Medicare specialist.
There's so much to it.
Yeah. And I've been dealing with it for my mom and dad, this past year.
Yeah.
And it's a nightmare. But I know why we're talking about healthcare as part of an overall retirement stress test. Before you get into retirement, you have to make sure that these areas are set and you know what you're doing, because healthcare is one of the biggest expenses you're going to face in retirement, even with Medicare. So
long-term care specifically is the conversation that we bring to the table for a lot of our clients, and making sure that we establish a plan. How do you want to cover yourself if you happen to go into memory care for 5 years? That is very expensive.
Yeah.
And hopefully it doesn't happen. But do we want to consider insurance? Do we want to, pre-plan and make sure that you're self-funded?
Sure.
So we go through those options, and then we want to make sure that we also incorporate, if it's viable, having an HSA incorporated into the plan too.
Triple tax benefits on HSAs.
Correct.
Those are
correct. It makes sense
accounts.
for a lot of people, not everyone,
so
there's a couple options out there that we bring to the table and we want to make sure that we're aware of when we're planning. So healthcare costs aren't just an insurance conversation. They impact your portfolio withdrawals and your tax planning. So it's the thing that I wanted to highlight there.
Yep. Speaking of which, I said healthcare is going to be one of your biggest expenses in retirement. Another one of the biggest, and these are really the top two, healthcare and taxes,
Correct.
right? So taxes is the next area of that spring retirement stress test. What do you got?
I think it's funny because people are trying to chase, to the finish line of retirement, and they don't really think about the taxes once they get into retirement.
Well, they think I'm not working. I won't be paying in that much taxes because I don't have that income, but you still have income in retirement. You better.
Social Security is taxed. It is taxed completely differently than anything else. There's a formula to it.
It can be taxable and up to 85% of your income, right?
You're right. Taxed, right. Yes. Yeah. Yes, there is a formula. It can be up to 85%. And then with your pre-tax bucket of money, you will have to take out required minimum distributions. So RMDs. That age of when it begins varies depending on when you were born.
Right. Yeah. 73. For some of us, it'll be 75.
Correct. Yeah. 72 for people. My dad was 70 and a half when he had to start taking out his RMDs.
Yep. And those RMDs, the reason we talk about required minimum distributions, and you bring it up, is because if you have a traditional account, like you went from a traditional 401k and you've got a traditional IRA, when that money comes out, that's fully taxable and will be taxed.
Correct.
And the government will tax it.
They see it as a source of revenue. Yeah. Think of it like that. You haven't paid the taxes on it. They want their taxes.
They gave you a tax break up front and then let it grow exponentially.
Correct.
And then you have to pay taxes on everything and all the growth.
Correct.
In retirement.
So some strategies that we think of is, maybe Roth conversions are a possible candidate for someone's, overall trajectory.
Sure.
Making sure that we hammer some out before RMD age.
Yep.
Just because you reach RMD age doesn't mean we can't keep doing them, but maybe it makes sense to do it beforehand. Capital gain harvesting, so tax loss harvesting in lower income years, that is also critical. Considering qualified charitable distributions, so QCDs. So instead of, taking your RMD, paying the taxes on it, and possibly reinvesting the rest of the funds if you don't need it, if you are charitably inclined, you could just send your RMD out to a charity and it is tax-free to you. So there's strategies there if that is a good fit for you and you want to give back to, your community, I guess. That's one way of us thinking through it. And then we also want to make sure that we are aware of Aunt Irma.
Yes.
The Irma bracket awareness for Medicare premiums. So that's something that we're also considering when we are talking taxes. your investment strategy without tax planning truly is incomplete. You have to marry the two of them. So.
Okay. All right. Well, taxes. You covered healthcare, you covered taxes, and next on the list would be income stability, lifestyle alignment. What's that about?
Retirees oftentimes underspend due to fear. You kind of already talked about it.
I jumped the gun on that one. I didn't realize it was in here. All right.
But it's okay, just because I do think it is very hard for a lot of people to spend their whole lives saving, and then all of a sudden, one day, you have to start spending your bucket of money. It is hard for people. I see it.
It's a complete 180. It's a complete opposite way of thinking from your accumulation phase, which is your working years, where you're taking an income and creating a savings. In retirement, you have to take a savings and create an income. And that's why we need you, Ellie.
That's where
you come in.
I think it's fun as an advisor to start, coaching people where it's like, hey, go do that dream of yours of taking your kids or grandkids to Disney World.
Yeah. Take a vacation.
This is what you have worked for.
Visit the national parks.
Yes, please go spend your money.
Yeah, do it while you're still healthy enough.
Correct.
To do it. Yeah.
Correct. Oftentimes we see, people start to slow down in their later 70s and their 80s, and they are too tired to be going on trips across the world. I don't blame them. It seems exhausting. So there's, a slowdown of spending later on in life. Go right now while you're healthy and able.
Yes.
But on the flip side of it, sometimes overspending is a little scary. And as an advisor, it's not really fun to say, hey, we did not account for you spending this much money. Remember all the training that we just did in the last 5 years of us getting ready for retirement?
Right.
This was not part of the conversation. So I very much emphasize budgeting with all of my clients. I don't care how old they are. To an extent, sometimes it's like, I don't really care what you're spending. Like, as long as you have a grasp of what is going out the door on an annual basis, and where you might be not spending, in retirement, and you're like, yeah, once we're there, I know we're not going to be spending this dollar amount because the kids are grown up, so that some things are going to vary, and factoring in your vacations and factoring in your entertainment expenses is critical.
Yeah.
Just because you retire, you're not going to stop those fun expenses, and we have to incorporate it into your budget. So as an advisor, that's where I say, please tell me what you are spending when it comes to fun stuff that's not going to stop in retirement.
True.
So we can make sure that we iron this out correctly for your retirement. So does that help kind of give a picture?
It does. So what are some strategies that we can?
Annual spending review. I think, it is critical for all of our clients to make sure that they sit down with us at least once a year is what I say, if not more frequently, if something's going on. But having that review with us, making sure that we stay on top of it. I'm hoping to, have my clients feel like they are held accountable by our meetings every single year.
Accountability is good.
And so that's, the difference between the identifying the essential versus discretionary income, and kind of, you need to know that. I don't really need to know that, but I just need to know the bottom line number more so. So you're going to need to figure out what those two numbers look like, and just making sure it aligns with, what your lifestyle goals are, whether it's traveling or whether it's gifting. You don't have to be a traveler. You don't have to be going to Disney World all the time. But if it's important for you to be giving, nice monetary gifts to your adult children, factor that in, please.
Yeah.
So that is going to help us with cash flow projections. And we want our clients to be confidently spending into their retirement and not just guessing.
Yeah. So. Don't. The guessing is what gets you into trouble.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct.
So let's summarize. I mean, the takeaways here. I mean, there were some key lessons. Market timing matters, especially early in retirement.
Yes.
So as you're planning right before retirement or heading in there, those timed withdrawals, really important. And your withdrawal strategy isn't a one-size-fits-all situation.
Correct.
Right? Yeah. And healthcare and longevity, you have to account for healthcare. You have to account for living until at least 95. I mean, my grandfather, 101.
Oh my gosh.
A lot of the men on my dad's side lived well into their 90s and 100s.
I love that. Good.
So there's that. And then people are living longer. I mean, that's not going to be everybody, but it's going to be a lot more people as time goes on as well. And then, of course, the big one, taxes. Taxes always work their way into financial conversations, unfortunately. And you finished off with lifestyle. What are you going to do? What are you going to be spending money on? You have to account for that. Yeah.
Correct. So each of these pieces impact one another.
Yep.
It's not just one thing. Your investment strategy affects your taxes. Your tax strategy affects your income.
Yep.
Your income strategy affects how confidently you live. Truly, that's what we see with our clients. So it's not just about your money. It's about your life.
Yeah.
Truly, it's not just numbers. It's what do you want to do with your money? And how do we get you there?
Yeah. What are your goals?
Yeah.
And everybody's situation is different. You can't just do what your neighbor did or what a relative did or what a coworker or friend did.
Correct.
Right? Yeah.
Correct. So use this spring as your retirement reset. You can think of it that way. Review with your withdrawal strategy with your advisor. I don't recommend trying to attempt that yourself.
Yeah.
Stress test your plan. These are all these things that we are conscious of when we are sitting down with our clients.
Sure. Well, great show today. I mean, we covered a lot today. You covered a lot. I nodded along. Yeah.
This was great.
I tried to absorb as much as I could today. That was great.
It's good. Yeah.
Fantastic topic. Spring retirement stress test. Get one. And if you have questions or you want a stress test or you need a retirement plan or income plan, or just to get a second opinion on what you have, even if you have a plan, I would highly recommend picking up the phone or going online and getting a hold of Paladin and asking for Ellie Robison. Ellie, how can our listeners and viewers out there get a hold of you?
You know what? Our phone number, 651-842-8406. Our website, paladinfinancial.com, where you can schedule a complimentary consultation straight on our website with our calendars. Nice and fancy tool that we have lately. So it has been a great, addition to exposure to our community and just booking with us.
Excellent. Well, Ellie, great show today. Listeners, pick up the phone, give Paladin a call, ask for Ellie. Good one. Thanks again for viewing and listening. That does it for today's episode of Paladin Financial Talk with our host, Ellie Robison.